Oh, the riches of this life. Oh, the ways we have been blessed. Oh, the poverty we own, and the things that we possess. You ask us to lay down all the treasure we have stored, for the treasure of your kingdom and a narrow road.
It's hard to believe it's Lent already, isn't it? Each Lent, I try to put together a series of reflections aimed at helping us all to enter more deeply into the spirit of the season. As little sisters, we're not theologians, but apostolic religious at the service of the elderly poor. As such, my reflections are generally simple, but hopefully they're spiritually beneficial. This year, I decided to base our reflections on one of the 3 traditional Lenten practices of prayer, fasting, and almsgiving. We're going to focus on the third one, almsgiving, or more broadly, on the place of the poor in the heart of God, in the life of the church, and in our lives, based on Pope Leo's first apostolic exhortation, Dilexi Te, on the love for the poor. There are many ways that this letter could be presented. During the next 7 weeks, I'll simply share a number of passages that struck me that include the words of well-known figures in the church or that seem closely related to our charism and mission as Little Sisters of the Poor. The first thing that struck me about this letter, which was actually begun by Pope Francis and finished by Pope Leo, was the way poverty was linked with the heart of God. Who of us does not find the heart of God a comforting image, an encouraging thought? Who would not wish to dwell in the heart of God? In hearing the cry of the poor, we read, we are asked to enter into the heart of God, who is always concerned for the needs of his children, especially those in greatest need. If we remain unresponsive to that cry, the poor might well cry out to the Lord against us, and we would incur guilt and turn away from the very heart of God. In another paragraph, we read, wanting to inaugurate a kingdom of justice, fraternity, and solidarity, God has a special place in his heart for those who are discriminated against and oppressed, and he asks us, his church, to make a decisive and radical choice in favor of the weakest. God's heart has a special place for the poor, we read in another section. The entire history of our redemption is marked by the presence of the poor. In paragraph 76, we read, the poorest of the poor, those who lack not only material goods, but also a voice and the recognition of their dignity, have a special place in God's heart. They are the beloved of the gospel, the heirs to the kingdom. It is in them that Christ continues to suffer and rise again. It is in them that the church rediscovers her call to show her most authentic self. And finally, love for the poor, whatever the form their poverty may take, is the evangelical hallmark of a church faithful to the heart of God. Through these passages, we come to understand that the poor are very dear to God, but God does not only love the poor, he became poor himself out of love for us. God's preferential love for the poor and his readiness to hear their cry comes to fulfillment in Jesus of Nazareth. We read in Dilexi Te, precisely in order to share the limitations and fragility of our human nature, God himself became poor and was born in the flesh like us. We came to know him in the smallness of a child laid in a manger and in the extreme humiliation of the cross, where he shared our radical poverty, which is death. It's easy to understand then why we can speak theologically, of a preferential option on the part of God for the poor. By his incarnation, he emptied himself, taking the form of a slave, being born in human likeness, and in that form he brought us salvation. His was a radical poverty, grounded in his mission to reveal fully God's love for us. As St. Paul puts it, "You know well the grace of our Lord Jesus Christ, that though he was rich, yet for our sakes he became poor, so that by his poverty you might become rich." The smallness of a child laid in a manger and the extreme humiliation of the cross. These two images demonstrate Jesus' radical poverty. And that's what I was trying to convey in this display for our series. In the weeks ahead, we'll look at several figures in church history and how they responded to the cry of the poor as a way of raising our own awareness of the needs of the poor and of growing closer to the heart of God. This week, you may wish to begin by reading Dilexite, which we have linked to the email with this video, along with the second chapter of St. Paul's letter to the Philippians and the 58th chapter of the prophet Isaiah. I'll see you next week.
The walls come tumbling down, and we become weak with our eyes on the cross.